Hey, ofmyseat here, back again with another brand new video. So this time I will be damaging... I will be damaging Yakuza Dead Souls on Dead Souls difficulty. If you were confused about the title with, Yakuza Dead Souls and then all caps, Dead Souls, no damage, all bosses, what that means is that, yeah, I'm doing this game on the Dead Souls difficulty. Like, this game has, the easy, the medium, the hard, the X hard, and then there is Dead Souls difficulty. Now, what does Dead Souls difficulty change? Well, I'm honestly not too sure myself, but I do know a few things. So, on X hard, you can actually go in there from New Game Plus, but on Dead Souls, you cannot do New Game Plus. So you pretty much, the only way to play Dead Souls difficulty is to start from scratch. So you start the beginning of the game as an extremely low-level character, okay, level 1, and you pretty much have to grind your way back to, the top. You can't bring any, previous experience or equipment from any previous runs. It's all new, and it's all much more difficult, because I believe I'm not sure if this also applies to X hard, because I didn't play it on that. I played this game on hard, which I barely remember, and I replayed it here on Dead Souls difficulty, which, well, definitely came with some difficulties. So, I don't know, the only thing I really know that Dead Souls difficulty changes is that it makes enemies a lot more aggressive. Now, how this affects boss fights, I'm not sure, but how it affects normal crowds is that they do not stagger. They will always be pissed off, they will always be coming after you, and unless you have a weapon with knockback, you can't, stagger them. They'll just keep coming at you. And this becomes hell for a certain funny section, way later in the game, but for main boss fights, I don't know what to expect. So anyways, this is the first boss fight with Akiyama, and also I'm going to have to apologize. This fight is rather dragged out, because this is the first time I tried to, put my metal to the pedal when it comes to no damaging this game, and, I was experimenting a little, and also I came in with a pretty underpowered weapon. Mind you, it is, to my knowledge, the best submachine gun in the game, and it was much useful against a lot of the enemy groups in this game. But I guess this boss fight, it serves decently, but it takes a while to drag this guy down, because, well, Dead Souls shooting gameplay is very unique, and it's kind of like this weird middle ground, between a traditional third-person shooter and something more like a restrictive horror game, like Resident Evil 4. Mind you, calling Resident Evil 4 a horror game per se isn't exactly entirely accurate. It's pretty action-packed, but its control setup is somewhat restrictive. You can't move while aiming and all that, and yada yada. And in this game, there's a weird middle ground where there's 3 modes of aiming. One, you can just shoot without really aiming anywhere. You just press R1, move the control stick, and it just kind of free fires wherever you want. And then there's a little bit more of a controlled aiming, a bit of strafing aiming. Kind of how you strafe in Yakuza. Except this time it's more for strafing with the gun. So pretty much just hold down L1 and R1, you pretty much just strafe and shoot, but you don't really have a reticle to know where you're going to shoot. Just kind of shoot in the general direction of something, and it'll probably hit it. But then there's a third mode of fire, which you activate by holding down the left trigger, which pretty much stops you in place, puts a reticle in your face, and now you can actually aim a lot more precisely, which pretty much you're going to need to use this when you want to aim up or down. I mean, if you're dealing with enemy straight ahead, then fine, but if you want to attack at a specific weak point, you got to go into this aiming. So like I said, it's kind of like this weird middle ground where it's kind of the best of both worlds, where you have your free aiming, you're moving around, but if you want to get a little more technical with some of these more set PC boss fights, then now you have this mode which restricts the player and adds a little extra challenge. So you're kind of navigating between, do you want more precision or do you want movement? It's a pretty interesting little thing to deal with. However, it has its issues, as you saw there. When I was trying to aim for this guy, the pillars got in my way because you can't move while aiming, and the third-person camera isn't the same between these styles. So, when you see an opening in your normal third-person camera, you're like, oh, let me aim a little more precisely. You go into that precision and the pillar's just blocking your path. That was really annoying. That's why most games you should go for a more typical third-person style, because it's a lot more efficient. That kind of jank I don't think is exactly something which enhances the horror or whatever. But yeah, that first boss fight, he's a little tricky. I don't know, I guess for strats I kind of skipped over them. So pretty much what you want to do is, sometimes when he's on the wall, he does a little stretchy hand thing, so you want to dodge to get that. But in the beginning, before he gets on the wall, he sometimes has this tendency to lunge at you. And when he lunges at you, you get to do this cool thing. Well, this game implemented a cool way to do heat action. So instead of doing contextual attacks, there's pretty much these contextual moments where once you press it, you can kind of just shoot at a major weak point and shoot the enemy, and then you have to do a extremely quick QTE, which you can kind of get past just by pressing the home button and seeing what it is, then pressing the home button again and pressing the button at the exact right moment, because some of these QTs are just ridiculous and I'm not going to deal with them. But yeah, at least I have that little, you know, cheat way how to kind of just do them. But yeah, that was the beginning boss fight. And now here we have a monkey. I don't know, monkey's a little whatever. As for how to tackle him, well, in the beginning, yeah, this nice tank which kind of lets you kind of chip away at most of the armor on this guy. However, sometimes, like when you get into that tank, the monkey might just straight up take you out of the tank and throw you out, and I just got very lucky that he didn't. And yeah, from then on, just kind of keep shooting the monkey. Sometimes he'll try to charge at you, throw items at you, pretty much just dodge and keep shooting. And sometimes he gets too close, he does that little like sumo slam, and it's like that kind of caught me off guard, and I'm honestly surprised I was able to dodge it, because this game's hitboxes can be extremely strange sometimes. Mostly, I don't know, the final boss of this game is kind of a nightmare with some of those hitboxes. Okay, here we go, heat action, baby, let's go. Oh yeah, but in the first boss fight, once he goes up into the rafters, just pretty much go into a little corner and pretty much just like wait for him to like pop out. However, sometimes he popped out in areas that were blocked from my view, so I couldn't do that. And as for this monkey, I don't know if you could see, he really wasn't all that hard to deal with. Now, anyways, it's that first boss fight, except he has a few new moves, and mostly, however, he's actually quite easier because he doesn't have access to walls or like the little set piece thing he does. So we're gonna dispose of him a lot faster. And also, we're using a shotgun here, and well, I don't know, yeah, and also we're playing as Majima, which doesn't change much except for that little like spin kick he does, which, you know, nice spin kick and all. Yeah, once he turns invisible, you're gonna have to go into the more precise aiming, because once he's invisible, Manjo's like, oh, I can't see him, so you can't really shoot him. So pretty much just aim there. However, that thing kind of stops being true, because I don't know, later on, a certain other boss fight also turns invisible, but I was able to hit him with hit fire just fine. So I don't know, maybe you could have, but you know, this guy doesn't really do anything all that dangerous when he's invisible anyway, so, you know, just shoot him when he's there. And also my boy Daigo holding out here, defeating the normal zombies, so, you know, just take this guy out quickly. So for this no damage, well, on YouTube, I am the only person who has no damaged all the boss fights in Dead Souls. However, there is another, and his name is Dr. W. This man is out here no damaging all the Yakuza boss fights. However, his Dead Souls no damage video is not on YouTube. However, on YouTube he does have a Dead Souls speedrun, which helped me for a certain other section of the game. But however, in those speedrun videos, he does have a link to where he actually put his Dead Souls video. And the reason it's not on YouTube is because he decided to include the opening and credits of this game. And I guess that pretty much gets you banned, like in early YouTube, so I can kind of understand why. But yeah, like on YouTube, yeah, I got the Dead Souls video, but he also got the Dead Souls video, and he was pretty helpful for some of the fights in this game. However, I will say this game isn't really all that hard. Like, I don't know, seeing that no one has really like made a big old no damage video on it, I was expecting it to be a lot harder than it actually is, but it's actually pretty moderate and honestly for the most part pretty easy. However, it does have a couple annoyances. Like, this guy was pretty troublesome. That's just because of his like weird hitbox. It was a little like sight. Like, if you like touch this guy, he like gives you chip damage, and that can be really annoying. So pretty much you want to do is you keep shooting at him, and sometimes he'll go into a little ball there, which gives you access to a little heat action. And from there, and now for this ball, thankfully we have Akiyama with us, so pretty much just keep shooting him. You'll hit him like at one point to knock him down, just, well, keep shooting him. I mean, like when it comes to this game, like there really isn't much tech beyond keep shooting him. However, this second phase could become hell, because if you saw in the beginning of his fight, he does this thing where he kind of like he's like ching ching ching's like near you, and then in the second phase, that attack becomes way more healthy. He does it a lot faster. He covers a lot more ground, and then by the time he's done, he'll also do the big like jumpy thing, and it's just like, there is ways to dodge it, but like if you do your normal dodge, you won't be able to dodge it. You pretty much have to like run away and then dodge at a very exact moment. So anyways, here's another like nearly impossible QTE, which I used the home screen for, and that ends this fight. So here we go, our boy Ryuji. And his model here looks awesome. I think it's a perfect like update from his like little PS2, from his PS2 model. And it's like the first time we see him in, well, HD. Before we got him in Ishin and Kiwami 2 though. I don't know, his Kiwami 2 model's a little off for me, but his Ishin model's dope, so no complaints there. But yeah, anyways, I don't know, seeing Ryuji here just kind of reminds me that his campaign is probably the worst out of all the characters in the game. Like, his missions just drag on and on. Like, he gets, like, these, like, oh, go collect these 3 hostages. Oh, go here, go there. Oh, you go here, backtrack here. It's really annoying. Like, his missions just go on, and he gets a lot of the really gimmicky stuff. So, yeah, not fun. Anyways, here is the coolest-looking boss fight in the game. Because look at this guy. He looks awesome. Like, it's this weird, like, zombie octopus. Oh, yeah, this game's about zombies. Have I mentioned that yet? So yeah, Yakuza meets zombies. So in my All Yakuza Games ranked video, I said that this game's story was really dope, and I don't know, replaying it, it's okay. Like, it's a fun ride. Like, there's a lot of good character moments, but like the main villain's really what drags it down. That guy is just such a fodder guy. Like, I thought the guy in the Majima Saga was lame, but this guy's just like man, like, we'll get to him because you get to like shoot him and all that, but like, man, this is just like, man. But anyways, this beginning boss fight, not a fan, because you just like use your aiming thing to shoot the red target, and well, at least there's an easy strategy to it, which I learned from Dr. W. If I didn't know that standing in the corner worked, I might have gone for more experimental strats, and I would have gone through a lot of frustration, but, oh, believe me, I did go through frustration anyways. So that's how, anyways, here's the cool part of the fight, where you have a lot happening, a lot of stuff happening, you know, a lot of moves you have to keep careful, a lot of, like, cool ways to interact with the boss fight. I think this part's awesome, and the music, the sorrow, you know, the emotion, because, like, dude, like, this guy, like, he got done so dirty. Like, this was, like, the dude who taught him how to cook, like, takoyaki, if that's how you pronounce it. Like, he was like going through a new life. He was like his mentor and all that, and then, like, the main villain of the game just turns him into that, and he has to kill him, dog. Like, man, it's so sad. Like, I don't know, I guess my main issue with like Dead Souls combat is that, well, it's Yakuza, and there's nothing wrong with Yakuza. However, it does tend to maybe be a little easy. Like, with the hand-to-hand combat, they kind of have like a good grasp on that, so they're able to challenge, like, you know, they're able to like create fun challenges around that. But for here, it kind of feels like they have the training wheels on, per se. Like, I don't know, a lot of the encounters or boss fights kind of feel either a little too easy, like, you know, oh, they have to use this mechanic which isn't that hard to use, or they could become like stupidly frustrating, like a certain fight later on in this game. And it's like, I don't know, and I think most of the boss fights don't really like come between a fair medium. However, I think this boss fight, I think, comes through a pretty fair medium. Like, a ton of moves, easy to react to, you're always on the move. I like it. Very nice, very dope. Now let's end it with this QT. Or not. However, I got a good dodge there. I mean, I didn't come in contact with this weird octopus thing, which those things have a lot of range, and once they touch you, they clip you for damage. Now let's actually succeed at the QT. So yeah, for that octopus fight, I actually did a strat that was different than Dr. W. He actually has a really smart and quick strat where he pretty much like throws a grenade both times when the octopus things come out of the hole, and that pretty much deals enough damage where, like, the third time, once he jumps out, he can just do the QT and end the fight right there. But for me, I kind of want to do something a little unique and use the chain gun the whole time, you know, a lot more climactic. I had to actually do more of his moves, you know, dope stuff. Now anyways, here is the monkey and the 2 guys from the beginning, except there's 2 of them now, so, you know, you gotta watch out for that. So yeah, this fight is mildly challenging, but if you keep, you know, a solid awareness of your surroundings, you just kind of, you know, keep a good distance, because distance is everything. Because if you stay too close to these guys, they'll just jump you and like scratch you. But if you keep a good distance, then once they jump you, it won't reach, and you can pretty much just keep shooting them. So not too hard of a fight, but can be a little challenging. You got a lot to deal with. You got a crowd of zombies, you got monkey, and you got the turtles to deal with. Oh yeah, my weapons. So for the Akiyama and Majima fights, I did not have my fully upgraded weapon selection. Like each character in this game has like their own weapon, which is exclusive to them. Akiyama has like these dual pistols, which once fully upgraded are godlike, and I used them in the dungeons and they're really great. However, I did not have enough money or the materials to make them at the time where I was challenging that foe. And I did not feel like grinding to get them either. And as for Majima, I pretty much got the materials to get the best weapon, but then I had to spend $1 million to re-venerate. So pretty much I had to like spend $1 million in order to make the place where you make the weapons like better so they can make those weapons. I was like, nah, I'm not dealing with that. I'm just gonna see if I can do it with the second tier shotgun. So yeah, the final Majima's like little final boss. I did it with like the second best shotgun, and well, it worked. So there is that. However, for these next coming fights, I will be using. No, not really. There's one fight where I won't be using the best weapon in the game. However, for Ryuji, I did upgrade his chain gun to the max, which is why it deals some pretty good damage. Dragon arm, red, very nice. Anyways, here's Kiryu, and they decided to reinvent the combat here by going for a far more closed-in camera to give it a more cinematic feel. However, seeing that Dead Souls almost killed the series in the West, they abandoned this idea soon after. However, a certain little developer picked it up again for God of War 2018, and well, worked a lot better there. So yeah, anyways, I'm just joking, but this combat is so ass. Like, you're not going to be fighting with Kiryu's like fist in this game. However, they decided to have a little fun and pretty much just let you do it. However, they somehow found a way to make this combat even more ass than the first game in the series. And the first game in the series combat isn't all that bad, but this is so clunky. Like, you can't change directions. Like, pressing square pretty much just like releases the entire combo instead of it just being finishers. Like, there's no quick. It's so bad. And the worst part is on Dead Souls mode. So remember when I said that zombies don't stagger? Well, here is the worst aspect of that. So pretty much, like, there's this one section in the beginning where Kiryu has to fight a crowd of zombies. It is near impossible to complete because the zombies will just knock you down. Your hits won't stagger them at all, so they'll just keep staggering, and most of their hits will knock you down. Once you're knocked down, they'll just gather in and gangbang you, just stomping on you over and over, and it's just like, man, stop it. So anyways, for this guy, the way I know damaged him was there's pretty much this one attack he does where he flails his arms. That leaves him open long enough where you can do like a full combo. So just do a full combo that knocks his health bar all the way down. But anyways, that isn't even a real boss fight. That's just like a little story moment. But I decided to include it because it's the only time Kiryu fights with his fists. So yeah, anyways, here's the frustrating boss fight I was talking about. Man, this flying guy, like, you have to like aim precisely at him with a PS2. Yeah, get out of here. And also I aimed so fast at him that the reticle didn't even show up. That was pretty dope, we'll admit that. So pretty much the main strategy here is to pretty much kill him before he calls enemies. I failed to do this, but I do get his health bar really low. But like the Dr. W run I saw, he actually did manage to like kill him before he does this. Ugh. Now the zombies are gonna come after you. However, for some reason I kind of like stuck myself into a corner and let my partners take all the damage, and that somehow worked. So lucky me, but still not a great fight because look at this camera. Like, how are you even gonna see the enemy? Like, you can barely see him. You get to use the reticle, but once you're using the reticle, you're like stopped in motion. It's not a good fight, man. Here we got the enemies just clipping out of the bathroom. So anyways, here I'm using a pretty good sniper, but it's not the best weapon for Kiryu. Kiryu gets like this other sniper, which is an anti material sniper. I don't even know what that means, but pretty much it deals a lot more damage, and it definitely like makes quick work a lot about it. Anyways, I'm gonna pull out the love machine here just to kind of deal with a lot of these passerbys here, and thankfully the boss fight actually decides to be a little nice and like kind of shows up, and I'm able to take it out with this machine. So I guess I'll just show you when it shows up then. Alright, now here is the worst section in the game. What were they thinking with this? Okay, so first off, this looks horrible. Like, okay, you're going around, there's like these awful blur. Like every time you shoot, it's disorientating. Like the enemies like blend into the background, so you can't even see what you're shooting half of the time. Like, I mean, oh yeah, and also, I mean, you're gonna be asking, hey, why are you taking damage doing this? Well, I don't know. Well, technically, Kiryu is inside a tank. It's the tank taking damage, not Kiryu. And now, when I say no damage, it's like the character taking no damage, not the vehicle. So you know what I'm saying. But anyways, I'm just joking. The reason I included this because like this section I believe to be near impossible, and I was almost ready to like pretty much restart the entire game because. Okay, this game does a sneaky thing where once you like complete a certain level, it gives you the option to save. But pretty much like once you save, the next thing you do is this. And pretty much the like I don't know, from what I believe, the only way you can complete this section on Dead Souls difficulty is to equip like some of the best armor in the game, because you pretty much like most of the damage here is unavoidable. So you pretty much like need to be tanky to like survive this. This is just, and most of it is due to something that will be coming up real soon, and also. Like, if you're trying to do no damage, you're like, look at all these enemies. Okay, look at this. There's a fire there. You stand there. You just keep taking damage because of this dialogue thing. It's just not fun. I mean, it's, like, fun at first until, like, you realize the big deficit with, like, this section. And I was almost ready to give up, but I persevered. I forced myself to do it. It's like, monkey! This is the guy. I don't like him. So pretty much the reason I don't like him is, before I get to that, so here's my strategy. I want to keep this guy away from me as far as possible. And the way I do that is just to constantly like barrage him with bullets. If I keep tapping him here, because I'm not holding down the trigger fully, if I keep just tapping him, he won't run at you. Because if you're like kind of passive and like don't shoot him, he'll start running at you, which means he'll be a lot closer to you, and means he'll start to do the mega stomps, which you do not want, and are pretty much the thing which kind of like screw you over for the later section of the fight. So pretty much what I do is just kind of tap, tap, tap. Sometimes he'll pull something out to shoot at you. Sometimes it'll be an explosive. Sometimes it'll be a rock. Just shoot that. Sometimes there'll be two enemies that show up with these guys. They are terrible. Now this is the thing. This is the thing. I used to believe that it was that on this difficulty it was impossible to stagger him here. However, I actually found a way to like almost consistently stagger him every time. I failed to do it these first 2 times, but the next 3 times I landed this guy. So pretty much once he like pretty much puts his fist down on the ground, constantly shoot the red section and like don't for a second like lay off of, like, you know, I miss it sometimes, but do not let it go on for more than a second. If you keep shooting that red section like over and over and over and over with precision, you will stagger him. But don't last, you know, like pretty much you have to like constantly shoot the red section, because in those first 2 times I kind of missed a little bit, and that's why he was able to go through with his attack. But just keep attacking that red section and that'll pretty much stagger him at this point. However, that's not the bad part. The bad part will be coming up. Yes, but still, monkey! While I did believe this section would be impossible, I did look for any sorts of help to help me through it, and my main source was Dr. W, because I believe no one else on YouTube has uploaded a video of this section of the game, you know, on Dead Souls difficulty. I just hear people talk about it. I hear people say that they almost beat it, but I've never seen someone actually beat it. And I saw Dr. W's like speed run of it, and the way he did it was crazy. Monkey! Okay, anyways, so what I don't like about this section, so this dude just, he charges at you, and you look at the damage you take. Look at that damage! So pretty much like there's just like 5 sections where he's always gonna hit you, and I never have enough health. However, the way I survived, the way I persevered was by staggering him once, which means like out of those 5 hits, I only took 4 of them. Look at that. If I took another hit, I would be dead. This section would have like killed me. I would have been in purgatory. But you know, there came a moment where I realized, hey, to get to this part of the game, I spent 30 hours to get here. So if I was gonna reset everything, I would have to redo that everything I did for 30 straight hours. I would have to redo, and I realized something, that I would rather spend 30 hours grinding this section to win instead of repeating everything. And with that determination, I beat it in like 3 hours. Despite everything, we did it, boys. And also, the reason like the save thing got me really mad was because I did not have the best armor. And when I saved the game, I didn't have multiple save slots, so I couldn't go back to a previous save to get better armor. So I was pretty much just stuck with my crappy chances. And look at the monkey. He was about to stop me, but I killed him. Watch this. So anyways, we're done with that monkey, and we're going to move on to a pretty dope boss. Wait, before we move on to the boss fight, I'd like to talk about what Dr. W did, because I believe he performed witchcraft in his speed run. Because like, when the, you know, like that monkey, how, you know, he like stomps your vehicle like a bunch of times. However, for some reason in his run, like the monkey just stopped. He just stopped like at the very beginning. He was just standing around like, monkey, 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 monkey. Like he was just like standing around. Like, I have zero idea how he managed. Like, did the monkey get stuck on like on a piece of collision, on a piece of like the environment? Like what happened? Like was there any strategy to that? Because I was just in awe and shock. But anyway, I found my own way to get through it. We're done with that, you know, the stress, you know, the pain, it's over. We're dealing with Hayashi now. They did my boy mad dirty. However, he gets to be this beast of a fight here. However, he isn't all that hard. Mostly because he mostly just abuses Ryuji the entire time, you know. Bless my boy here, but like pretty much the only way I was able to like win this was just because he kept attacking Ryuji. So pretty much just the main strategy is just keep shooting him and dodge his attacks. Really, there isn't really all that much to that. However, for this section, once Hayashi reaches the green health bar, he's going to make a mad dash towards Ryuji to rip off his chain gun. However, once he has the chain gun, he is impossible to deal with, because I'm pretty sure he has some form of like auto-aim. Auto-aim is not the right word. It's what Terada had, but to a lesser extent. So I pretty much have to like kill him before he does that. I failed to do so. However, I pretty much got him to a nipple of health. So once he got the chain gun, I shot him before he could do anything. Because once he has that, he's impossible to deal with. But before then, he's not all that hard. However, you know, watch out. He can like leap at you really fast. In his grenade phase, he can like throw grenades and sometimes do like a funny heat action. So, you know, just like, you know, be a little careful, but he really isn't all that hard, especially with the Dragon Sniper, which just deletes health. And anyways, here we have the final forms of the first two boss fights in the game. So it's pretty much just like the first boss fight in the game, except these are more like doggies, and they have hair. This one can shoot fire, the other one can shoot oil, which is extremely strange for twins, because usually it's, you know, fire and ice like mixed together, but now this one's like fire and oil, which is a pretty neat like environmental thing. You know, this one shoots fire, then like the oil catches on fire, creating like these little fire pits, you know, like real cool, whatever. Anyways, look at this dude. This dude is cheeked up. I'm just gonna slather this guy with bullets, bro. He's gonna be laughing his ass off by the end of this. So yeah, this boss fight isn't all that hard because I don't know, once again, Ryuji takes most of the damage for me. But still, you know, be a little careful. It is two guys. This one can breathe fire, though he does telegraph it quite a bit, so you can kind of run away, get a good distance. And with a sniper, you can pretty much shoot from very far away. Even with like just like the second aiming mode, you can still just land damage. You see here, this dude's just getting depleted. Also, during that section where my guy was like cheeked up, he was healing himself, but he was taking health from his homie, so he was pretty much like dealing damage for me, which, you know, very nice. It means this guy is gonna be taken care of a lot quicker. However, I gotta say something that really frustrated me with this guy is that I was about to no damage this guy. This guy shot his oil and I slipped in it and I got chip damage for it, though. That was extremely frustrating. Yeah, look at that. The dude can launch extremely far away, but, you know, keep a good distance and it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Also, remember this guy's stretchy arms from the beginning? He can still do that. And a fun fact is these pillars do not protect against the stretchy arms at all. Their arms go straight through the pillars to attack you, so do not believe in cover. Anyways, little quick stop gear to end the enemy, and that is that boss fight done. But yeah, do not believe in these pillars. The enemy will attack you anyways. It'll just go straight through it, just clips all through that. Anyways, here is that really mediocre villain who gets like an amazing theme. It's all like sorrowful. It's like a theme which you expect like an actual good boss fight to have, but nah, not this guy. So man, this guy's whole motivation was just that he really liked his homie Ryuji, and he didn't like that he got kicked out of the Yakuza, you know, like, and he teamed up with an arms dealer, spread the zombie apocalypse, and the arms dealer's got his whole other motivation about, like, you know, like living in sorrow, you know, blah blah blah. The other guy, like, I can't understand more, even though he is just crazy zombie man. This guy was just such a, like, man, like, I guess the theme is sad because, you know, it's just sad that someone who, you know, had a big plan just got pretty much used as a tool in the end or whatever. Blah 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 blah. The design is pretty cool. It's got the beast hands, and also I just treated him like a punk bitch. Like, look, like he's supposed to be tough in the beginning because he has this one attack where he can pretty much just teleport right to you and like choke you out. But for some reason, he spent the entire fight Naruto running, and I just kept shooting him away. And at one moment, he like stood still, and I'm assuming he like wanted to do something when like he was like maybe preparing an attack. But like I pretty much got him to the next phase before he could do anything. And this next phase is pretty dope. He just summons like these blood zombies, and it's like, man, the bloods, man, yo, and then we gotta shoot his heart, and it's just like floating there. It's like a gummy bear. It's like awesome, dude. But however, I got extremely lucky. I just kind of went behind a pillar and just kept shooting his heart. Most of the zombies didn't kill me because I'm pretty sure they're just like gangbanging Ryuji over there, and that ends the fight. Like, this is a pretty cool fight, but I just made extremely quick work of it. Anyways, here's the final boss, which I think I could be pretty clear in saying that this is probably the worst final boss in the series. And it isn't because he's all that awful, it's just more because he's just extremely lame. It's just like, alright, here is the giant set piece guy who has really telegraphed moves which are easy to dodge. Just keep shooting at him. And well, the worst part is that the hitboxes here are just weird. Like, you know, for these attacks, they're not all that much of an issue, but it's the one where he just goes... It's one where he does that things get a little annoying, and I got clipped a couple times for no reason. Like, I dodged at the perfect time, and it's still... Oh, and also, you literally, like, cannot avoid taking damage at that section. Like, once he starts that QTE, you are taking damage, so that is pretty sus. And also, the QTEs in this are hell, so of course I'm going to be using the home button, dog. Ain't gonna deal with that. No. So, you know, like for here, you want to stay in the middle. Because if you go too far to the left or right, his attacks will like glitch out and just hone in on you immediately. Look at that. Sometimes when he does that third strike, like either the dust or the collision from his arm hits me anyways. Here, let's get this goofy screen grab. So anyways, we're done with that, and anyways, here comes our homie Asagi coming in with the heat. Asagi. And also here is another reason why he might be the worst fight. Dude, stop spitting on me. Is that he's pretty much just a glorified tutorial by this point. Like, you're not going to really be using your guns anymore. Just like, you know, dodge one of his attacks and then, you know, use the aiming system, which you've probably used quite a bit by this point. It's like, okay, guess I'll use the aiming system. Like, dog, like, it's treating me like I'm a baby. Like, I ain't down for this. Nah. And anyways, here comes you know, the epic rocket launcher. You gotta definitely have the rocket launcher, but then comes a pretty cutie. Like, let's think this through. Like, the final boss of Yakuza 1, Nishiki, in the original game and Kiwami 1, he was like, you know, a cool little test of your skills. It's like, yo, awesome fight. You know, emotional baggage, dope. You know, Yakuza 2 and Yakuza 2 and Kiwami 2. Well, I mean, Yakuza 2 is way more challenging, but still, you know, pretty dope fight. Like, for that game in particular, pretty cool, pretty fun little fight, you know, cool. Yakuza 3, awesome. You know, Mine is dope. You know, Yakuza 4 has, like, you know, the whole barrage, the whole gang, you know, like, you know, pretty cool fights, except for, like, the final one, which was pretty poopy. It may be a little worse than this one, but still, like, thematically wise, it was a lot more engaging and epic. You know, Yakuza 5 filled with a ton of amazing final boss fights. Yakuza 6, a pretty divisive final boss, but a pretty good test of skill. You know, music's dope. Yakuza 7, I haven't played it, can't say anything about it. Yakuza Kenzan and Ishin, dope final boss. Well, Kenzan has like the really lame guy, but whatever. Anyways, here's the Amon of this game, who I believe may be the easiest Amon in the series. Like, what other Amon can you beat in about a minute? So this guy is copying like Nikaido, Tetsuo. And I guess while battling this guy, I realized that if you just stand really close to him, he won't attack. However, let him get some distance on you, he'll attack. And this Amon has a couple new attacks of his own. He has his famous laser, and he has this move where he copies Andre's like moveset, except he shoots like fireworks at you. However, this gives you the time to do a little heat action, and boom! Like, I think that was pretty dope. This guy's pretty much just a better version of the Nikaido boss fight, at least the first phase. And also once you like take away half of his health, he pretty much can turn invisible, and he'll try to stay invisible the whole fight. But I didn't let him do that. So anyways, that was my Dead Souls note damage. So yeah, I still think this is probably the worst Yakuza game, mostly because a lot of the levels tend to drag on quite a bit, and the combat system just doesn't have the engagement of like the hand-to-hand combat system. Like, it kind of feels like they're kind of dipping their toes into the shooter realm. And I kind of like the middle ground approach they took, but like kind of mixing between a more traditional third-person shooter and something more like a horror game. But it lacks the polish of either one, because it's like, yeah. But anyways, yeah, that was Dead Souls, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And next up, I'm going to be trying to clean up some Amons I haven't done. Basically, I'm going to try to no damage the Kurihio 1 Amon. Don't expect that anytime soon. That fight is really long.